I'm Congresswoman Elise Stefanik. I wanted to thank all of the attendees at today's event. The purpose of today's event is our traditional campaign results tour. So in a traditional election year, I have run on my record of results every single re-election across New York's 21st congressional district, including results on legislative issues, on constituent services issues, on grants issues, on important casework that we've done. I'm really excited to have kept my promises to this district and delivered real tangible results. Sunday is 100 days between now and the November election, and every single day, my team will be highlighting a specific results that I am proud to have delivered to New York's 21st congressional district. And there will be a lot of themes and policy priorities. One will be focused on my specific results during the COVID crisis. I've worked very closely in hand with all of our local elected officials, our hospitals. I've been proud to deliver over $165 million of direct federal support to our hospitals. And some of that took very, very specific outreach, working with the Department of Health and Human Services. One constituency that I have a very strong record of standing up for is making sure that our veterans get access to the benefits that they have earned. And I'm proud to have delivered over $4 million of VA benefits to our veterans. This district has more veterans than any other congressional district in New York State. And while the $4 million price tag is something that I'm very proud of, what's most important is that is the sum of many, many, many individuals. Some cases are over $150,000. Others are smaller amounts, but amounts that were owed to our region's heroes. In addition, our seniors, I have been very proud to ensure that our seniors have access to the resources that they need, such as Social Security and Medicare. I've been able to claim over $3.6 million of Social Security benefits for our seniors. And this year was the bipartisan lead, so the Republican lead sponsor of the Older Americans Act reauthorization, which is a really important bill that authorizes programs like Meals on Wheels, which we know is so important right now during the pandemic as our seniors, making sure that they are meeting their nutritional needs. Of course, I continue to focus on the importance of Fort Drum, and I've delivered win after win after win for the 10th Mountain Division and our military families in the broader Fort Drum community. But this has been a team effort. I'm proud to work with our local electeds and community leaders all across the district, and I wanted to give them an opportunity to participate in today's virtual kickoff of our results tour. Normally this would be in person, but we're doing it creatively online. And this allows it to share us with all the constituents across the district and all of the voters as we head to the polls in 100 days as of this Sunday. So first, I want to turn it over to Sean Gilliland, who is chairman of the Board of Supervisors of Essex County. Sean and I have worked extremely closely going back to when I first took office in 2014, and I've been just truly honored to work with Sean in his capacity as the town supervisor of Willsboro. We've done a number of events together and have worked together on a lot of very important issues to the families in our district. So Sean, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, thank you, Elise. Thank you very much. And yes, no, it's been my honor to work with you the whole time. It's been truly an honor that you have been our Congresswoman. I can't think of a better U.S. representative I've ever known in my, close to 35 years of service at the federal and the local level. The responsivity that you are, as I have always said, you're one phone call away from the federal government every time we needed you. Whether it's a Saturday or a Sunday or any day of the week. The response during this COVID crisis has been absolutely phenomenal. Both for myself at the county level and for my public health department. In particular, problems that come up with with dealing with federal agencies such as the Bureau of Prisons, or Department of Health or Health and Human Services, et cetera. Your response and the actions taken, we're fixing problems faster, literally, than what we could get out of our own state representatives and organizations helping with the COVID crisis. That and your staff throughout too. I mean, numerous constituents with constituent problems. It just one right after the other of actions taken and helping people. Everything dealing, which I've heard in just the last week. Problems with student loan repayments, problems with federal unemployment insurance. People are. I am hearing from both sides of the political spectrum how amazing the actions of you and your office and the effectiveness of those actions have been. You've changed a lot of people's lives for Essex County, and there is my board. As I said, across the political spectrum, are just they're glad to have you, and really appreciative of the work you've done. I'm not just in COVID-19 time, which has been stressful, but I can tell you what, being at a local level, at the county level, at the town level, being able to, in a very stressful time, and particularly at some points in the last few months when up here in the North Country, we really didn't think our state government was concerned about us as much as other parts of the state. Having U.S. representatives there that, like you, who get things done, it was you helped tremendously just by your responsivity. There's nothing I don't know. Throughout the last, you've been in office just a little bit less time than I have, and I don't know how many of the other gentlemen here on the call knows, but I'm glad to have her. She carried my first petitions for me, so I will never forget that. So what can I say? We need you. We're glad. We are tremendously glad you're here. What you've delivered in healthcare, what you've delivered for the veterans, what you delivered in constituent services is nothing short of amazing. And I really am looking forward to several more years working with you, Elise. And nothing makes my spouse and I prouder than to call you our friend.
Thank you so much, Sean. And we're going to be talking a lot about those results all across the district, but just to highlight some of the results in Essex County, I've worked closely with Sean on the importance of funding our Lake Champlain Basin program, which we significantly increased. That was a floor result that I delivered, and it was a bipartisan result that I delivered. That has been significant, as well as grants that some of the municipalities and towns and villages in Essex County have applied for. On the COVID issue, one of the top concerns with Essex County, as I've worked with the County Department of Public Health, as Sean will remember early on, there was huge challenges reaching out and getting information from the federal facility at Raybrook with the Bureau of Prisons. I was able to step in, talk to the director of the Bureau of Prisons at the federal level, and break down those barriers to ensure that our local county public health had access to folks at Raybrook, and we continue to make sure that line of communication was open. So that's another example of a result that we will be talking about in the next 100 days between now and the November election. I next want to turn to Phil Reed. Phil, go ahead.
Well, I thank you, Congresswoman Stefanik. I really appreciate the opportunity and honor to participate today. I've been in this business for 19 years now, but you have been a strong supporter and fighter for the North Country. When I first got into office, I had the privilege of, or the, I would say, having our congressperson in our county, John McHugh, and we would talk frequently. And when you became elected, you made a promise to be here and be a presence in this North Country, and it hasn't skipped a beat. You have been here for us, whether it's calling on the weekends or at any given time. Your staff and more importantly yourself, you've kept that promise, and the North Country is better for it. So we haven't missed a beat, and I want to thank you for walking the walk, because you have been here and readily accessible. Just some of the numbers that you'd hit: over $16 million secured for Jefferson County hospitals, over $24 million secured for infrastructure, education, and other key priorities for Jefferson County, including the airport. And I would like to also thank you. Not only do you support the airport, but you come to the airport, you walk around, you went to the hangars, you absorbed everything that we had to offer. But I'd like to even just a couple of the key initiatives that you've been on board with and supported and helped us with. One is a huge necessity for us was our airport rescue and firefighter building. Previously, as a growing business, we had our assets kind of all over the airport. With the $5.3 million secured, we'll have a state-of-the-art facility. Our equipment will be in one place. We'll have training for our employees. Previously, if they had to spend the night in a snowstorm, they were sleeping in cots and trucks and things, and now we'll have a quality facility for our employees. Now this structure will be a great asset and for the safety of our employees in our community. The other important project that we're going to be kicking off soon is the runway intersection and secondary runway rehabilitation, along with the infrastructure improvements. That's $7.9 million. Close to $8 million, and we couldn't have done it without you. And your presence at our facility has been very welcome. But through those efforts, we'll be able to continue to grow our facility and ensure the safety and well-being of that asset. In the other part of the airport, well, I can talk about the airport for a long time, but the other part is the COVID response, what you supported has eased our burden as far as our matching grants for our airport. Typically they're 90% funded and 5 and 5, with the local community picking up 5% or 2.5%, depending on the grant. With this CARES Act, then we're able to not have to rely, that's going to be supported for us in the CARES Act. We're not going to have to put that burden on our local community. So we thank you for that. And also a couple other things. One was when the high water event happened last year, I think you called me before I could call you, scheduled a visit. Not only did you show up, but you came out in the boat. You're willing to learn all aspects of the impacts on the environment and what we're trying to do, and you're well engaged with that. And again, you were one of the first elected people to come and see from the water what exactly was going on, what the impacts were. And I thank you for that. And I can't, I saved one of the big ones for last is the Fort Drum. Since you've been here, you have been a fighter for our community for Fort Drum. You've been far and wide the leading defender of Fort Drum. Every year you manage to secure important wins for us at Fort Drum, and you even brought the president here in 2019 to sign the National Defense Authorization Act, which was really huge. You are on boots on the ground here for us. The military families have become an important fabric of our community, and with your support, we continue to make things better for those that sector of our community. It touches everybody. They're in our the soldier families are in our schools, they're in our homes, they're our friends, and with your support, it makes it easier on those families. So I appreciate that you're always willing to listen to our concerns and find out what to do, and then just take it and run with it and get them done for us. So it's an honor to work with you, and I really appreciate our friendship, and wish you the best in the future, and we'll be here for you. Thanks for being here for us.
Thank you so much, Phil. And next we're going to go to Kevin Akers from St. Lawrence County. I think back to when I was first running for office, I met Kevin in a home kitchen at a meet and greet at someone's home who is a big supporter and one of our top volunteers in St. Lawrence County. And I've had the opportunity to work with Kevin ever since then, just like Phil and Sean. So Kevin, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, thank you. And Elise, you had as much energy then as you do now. I really appreciate that. I'm going to do a little politics first for the gentleman on this Zoom. I'm sitting in the seat where Tedra Cobb was 8 years before me. And Tedra took a $22 million budget and it was down to a negative $3 million. By the time the Republicans took power in 2015, we now have a $31 million surplus. And we're going to need it with the COVID and money that we need for our infrastructure, particularly our highway and bridges. First of all, Elise, I want to thank you for your tireless and unrelenting support for the Second Amendment. That's critical for us here in the North Country and for those that believe in the Constitution. I also want to praise you for your critical role in exposing Congressman Adam Schiff in the impeachment hearings with his dishonesty and his connection to the whistleblower. On the other side of things, on a bipartisan thing, I want to thank you for your working across the aisle on environmental issues, particularly acid rain, which protects the Adirondacks. And most importantly, I want to thank you for your support of the police. We have all these movements right now across our cities and even some of our suburbs here in the North Country about defunding the police. Your backing the blue is critically important to myself and to my constituents. So on the local level, I want to thank you for the support. You've brought in about $33 million to St. Lawrence County hospitals, which is a critical need. Here in the North Country, I think we only have about one doctor for every 1,500 residents, and I think the average should be somewhere about 1 in 500. So that money is critical. And you've also brought in about $57 million for infrastructure, water projects for here in Canton. Your support of the highway bill has been very important, and that's the type of thing that our constituents here in the North Country need. On the local level, I can tell these gentlemen that I used to do business with Dundee Feeds. I've actually sold my cows. I'm quasi-retired, still buying land and working land itself, but the cows are gone. But Dundee Feeds, which is in Quebec, had purchased White and Patterson in Canton. They employed 27 individuals. It's a multi-million-dollar business, which actually does a lot of business with the Amish, bag products, and things of that nature that serve the smaller farmers in our community. And Larry Blyer, the co-owner of Dundee Feeds, came to me with a problem. The ag inspection at the crossing for him, the hours are being reduced, and they were going to maybe 2 days, and this is a day-to-day operation. He was going to have to drive up near Champlain across, which was 90 miles out of his way. He spoke to me. I sent an email to Elise. It was on a Sunday. It was on Mother's Day. I completed the email and started an email to Larry Blyer of Dundee Feeds saying that I had sent an email to the Congresswoman, and I already had the reply from her. And I was doubly impressed Sunday on Mother's Day. So those are critical issues. 27 employees here in the North Country are vital to our ag community and servicing of the small farms. Your efforts in trying to attain a viable workforce on a year-round basis for the dairy farmers, labor is the critical issue for us. Your passage of the Farm Bill and also your efforts to support enhance the margin protection program, which basically takes the cost of feed and the actual pay price for milk and provides like an insurance to make up the difference for a premium. And you raised the amount of milk that was eligible. I think you moved it up to 5 billion pounds, which in today's dairy farms, it encompasses anywhere from small up to medium and maybe even some larger producers. So you've been a huge advocate for agriculture. Your support for Fort Drum is unmeasurable, and that's critical here in the North Country, and we're really blessed to have you, and I wish you well.
Thank you so much, Kevin. And then we will go to Bill Peck from Saratoga County.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Congresswoman. It's good to see all you folks here, and this is an exciting time with 100 days to go to election. You know, at any time in our careers, if there's ever a critical moment, we often refer to that, but it's right now. First, I'm going to touch on Elise. You know, as an individual, you're obviously extremely bright and articulate. But what impresses me most is your common sense approach to solving problems. You recognize the issue, you tackle it, then you work across the aisle in a bipartisan way to then to offer results and implementation. To me, that's the makings of a great congressperson and representative. So as an individual, I think your skill set has been extremely worked really well for us here in the 21st Congressional District. I come from the southern portion of the district, Saratoga County. I am a dairy farmer, a town and county supervisor for the last 17 years. So I've worked with several different Congress people and previously for the 15 years prior to that. So I cannot say enough of the work you do. And I think it's been mentioned here. Your responsiveness is unbelievable. You can contact Elise at all time, but I would note the number of things you give your energy to and the detail-oriented attention that in order to accomplish it, not only, as Kevin said, the great energy, but you must have good staff as well. So to surround your people with excellent staff, I think is critical, and you've done that because your responsiveness in this district, as large as it is, I think is quite impressive. You know, in Saratoga County, and I'll touch on a few of the neighboring counties here in the southern portion, Warren, Washington counties. You've been able to deliver over $44 million to our hospital and healthcare facilities. Just recently during COVID, some telehealth monies for Saratoga Hospital and infrastructure and upgrades in Glens Falls to the Glens Falls Hospital, Warren County. You know, those are ongoing issues that you've helped with. Infrastructure, whether it be airports, as Phil mentioned, housing, education, clean water issues, you know, that we've had throughout. You've been instrumental in all those. As a dairy farmer, you know, dairy farming has been a very difficult business for the last several years, and now you put COVID on top of it. I think your work in helping the craft, the Corona Food Assistance Program has been instrumental in keeping dairy farmers going. So that's been phenomenal. All small businesses with the payroll protection program, that's been key. And then when you go into, you know, and I've done this and you've done this many a time now, the farmers, the family's food box, the working between the dairymen, the producers, the processors, getting the milk into the food pantries and the handouts. One was just done at the Saratoga County Fair a few days ago for 4 hours. And at the end of 4 hours, there's still 100 cars lined up to come through and get this. So that's been a great success. Labor, as Kevin mentioned, continues to be an ongoing struggle in the dairy industry and agriculture in general. So your work recently to get the H-2A visa available to dairy is going to be instrumental for the North Country and all of us involved. You know, when I looked at the COVID situation, overseeing public safety here in Saratoga County, since day one, I've been up to my forehead in COVID, working on a team down here with our sheriffs and EMS and our public health department. Mental health has become a big issue in this time of need. But you've been there on our calls, you know, taking the temperature of the county, taking the temperature of the district, and offering up assistance where you can do it from a federal level, whether it be in PPE or just from the insight you had from other counties. So it's been instrumental. You know, I think our response to the North Country has been phenomenal here in New York, and it's your assistance that's helped open those doors and other opportunities. You know, I can't say enough with the work you've done. You've been in office, I think, 5.5 years, and I sit back as I get older and think about the energy you put into each and every effort. It's quite impressive throughout this district. You know, covering the 21st Congressional District, I don't know if it's the largest, but it's one of the larger districts you will face in Congress, and you've done a fantastic job, you know, meeting the needs of the people, meeting the needs of the elderly. You know, in the past few months, you and your staff, I believe, have contacted over 100,000 of the elderly or folks that are homebound. You know, that's just critical during this time when we're in this coronavirus. So those are moments, opportunities for those folks to answer the phone and hear a friendly voice. And I can't say enough what that does for people. So Elise, thank you for your past support, your continued support throughout. And I can't say enough positive things to help you along in this road, this journey that you're on. And you bring great pride to us here in the 21st Congressional District. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Bill. And I've had an opportunity to work with each of these local elected officials during COVID, but as I said, really since I started this job, and it's just been a tremendous team effort, particularly during COVID, to make sure that at the local level, they are getting the federal support they need, and making sure that our state assemblymen and women, as well as our state senators, we're also working closely with them. As we head into this final 100 days, I'm so excited that we are going to highlight 100 days and 100 results in the North Country, focused on what my office and what I've delivered for seniors, for veterans, for farmers, for manufacturers, for small businesses, for our North Country tourism, for our northern border issues, for military families. The list goes on, but I'm proud to run on that record. And this is going to be a real choice this election cycle, a record of proven results or far left resistance and inability to work across the aisle. I've proven that I can deliver results, and I have the ability to ensure that every single issue of importance to the North Country gets a seat at the highest level. And those results really speak for themselves